Hoyo makes it seem like primogems are real money, but let's make it so we can screw them over and they can only go to one thing at a time. What am I here for? Like, if I was to take a lore quiz, I'm failing that over and over and over again. Hi everyone, welcome to our Chilly place. My name is Chilly for those who are new here, and if you're not, hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be pre-farming for SIGEWINNE while also complaining about everything that I dislike about this game. First things first, we are going to be fighting the Hydrotolpa. I believe it's this thing, right? Yeah, okay. Which we had to fight for, what's her name? For Farina, right? So I want to see how many I have first before I go in, just so kind of like have a base amount. Okay, so I have 5, so that's not terrible at all. It's not terrible. So yeah, I really want to see SIGEWINNE. Homegirl's talking so much. She's adorable, cute, and I love her. It's gonna be a little bit of a chiller video. Interesting that I say chill, especially because I'm going to be complaining this entire time. I don't know if complaining is the right word to use, but I'm gonna be talking about things that I dislike about Genshin because it's something that has been heavy on my mind as somebody who has burned out from Genshin so many times. You know, I'm still constantly fighting that burnout. It's interesting to see how the relationship develops with this kind of game and like these kind of games in general. I just wanted to talk about, you know, my opinion that nobody asked for, essentially. Also, my resin is not capped because I have been getting on Genshin really late as of recently. Excuse that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into the complaints. The first thing that I dislike about Genshin is primos. Honestly, there's gonna be a reoccurring theme of this list that I have where it just comes to like selfishness of game developers in general, not specifically with Hoyo, but game developers, yeah, as like a whole. My issue with primos is that there is never enough. They're very, very stingy. Even honestly, for like, even if you're somebody who's F2P or you're a dolphin or you're a whale, like the amount of primos that you get for things is never worth it. Hoyo makes it seem like primogems are real money and they can't just be giving them out willy-nilly. Now, I do have something to say that'll like kind of tie everything in together about these things, and it comes back around to the fact that it is a free-to-play game, but it's also somebody's job, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying all this just like, these are just my personal opinions. I want to state that first of all. These are just my personal opinions, and honestly, a lot of you guys can also relate to me in these opinions, but you know, take everything just basically with a grain of salt. I'm just speaking on stuff that I've experienced as a player, as a longtime player, right? The way I view primos, it seems like the company really like makes it seem like they are extremely hard to give out and that they are actual real life currency. Like in their eyes, it makes it seem like the less primos they give out, the better. And then also when it comes to exploration, we could just do so much exploration. Like we do so much for a common chest. Like there have been multiple times where I'm sure you guys can agree as well, where we've done like a puzzle that needs so much mental stimulation just for the reward to be a common chest, which only rewards what, 5 primos, and then there will be so many of those puzzles in the world. It's just not worth it. A lot of the puzzles in exploration are just not worth it because they only give you the common chest, you know? So we're doing so much work for so little reward. That really sucks. I do wish that, you know, the developers would just think a little bit more on that and realize that realize that not everybody has the time of day, and I'll get into that later as well. Not everybody has the time of day to sit here and play their game for hours on end and then not even get a temple, not even get 1,600, because it's extremely hard. Well, not maybe not extremely hard. It's not impossible either. It's not impossible, but it is very hard to get a single temple in one day. Like I say this all the time, but I can't even imagine how it feels like to be a very, very new player coming onto Genshin. And you know, there's so much that you have to catch up on, and there's so much that you don't know. Okay, but the second thing I wanted to talk about is the treasure companies in every region except Nogcry. Again, I'm not sure why Hoyo wants Genshin players to suffer so badly. Like something I genuinely don't understand is why are things so fucking complicated at this game. Things are genuinely so complicated and I don't understand why. Who decided that it would be a great idea to create a treasure compass to find things more easily, right? That's the whole point of a treasure compass. You want to find things easier, right? No. They decided to make a treasure compass and only do one thing at a time. One Mora box, one Sealy, one common chest, one precious. Whoever came up with that, I have some very choice words for you and they're not nice. I'm gonna be so honest because why would you ever do that? Like, genuinely, that pisses me off so bad. Like, y'all really sat there and was like, let's make a treasure compass to help out the people who want to explore more and they're finding it a little bit difficult, but let's make it so we can screw them over and they can only go to one thing at a time. Like, genuinely, what is your thought process behind that? If you genuinely cared about your players in the community, which I'm really starting to think that they don't. They claim that they listen to us, but you know, they're only listening to the select things that they want. That's something that I'm noticing about game developers, is they just listen to things that they were either already thinking of, or they, you know, see that specific thing and they're like, okay, players are asking for this specific thing, let's make it challenging for them just to screw them over. That's generally what it feels like. For the people who are like, oh well, it takes, you know, it takes this kind of challenging thing, it makes it easy. That's kind of the point. If you like the challenge of exploring an area without a compass, don't use the compass. It's as simple as that. If you wanted to make a challenging, difficult game, talk to Elden Ring. Talk to the developers of Elden Ring and they'll tell you exactly how to make a difficult game. Next thing that I want to talk about is story. Any storyline that exceeds 2 hours is too long. If you are exceeding 2 hours, that is way too much. I'm gonna be honest. And then another thing is no skip button. You're telling me you're making me sit here for 2+ hours and you're not giving me a skip button, especially with storylines that aren't lore. Oh my god, storylines that aren't lore just piss me off so bad, because I'm like, what am I here for? If I'm not interested in the story, why are you forcing me to, like, no, seriously, why are you forcing me to care about something so much that's not even lore? What am I here for? My opinion on extra long stories is it's selfish, honestly. You noticed it a lot with Nouvellette Please when it happened in Nodcry, right? The Nodcry Archon quest was ridiculous, and I'm gonna, like, I already hate being forced to do something that I don't want to do. So the fact that they make you sit there for 6+ hours, no breaks, no saving the game, is selfish. And then that little warning they popped up with, like, oh, make sure you have ample time. People have lives to live, right? And mind you, they said that they were improving storyline. I'm so confused about how making your players sit there for hours on end is improving storyline. In my eyes, there was nothing improved about it. It sucked ass to sit there for hours on end with no break. Like, genuinely, I think, like, I'm pretty sure we had to sit there for like 3-4 hours before we got a break, before we could leave their game. I understand, you know, there's lore skipper, people like that who complain about the game and not understanding it, but they skip the story. I get that part. Let's be honest, like, maybe some people aren't interested in your story. Maybe the lore is too confusing to understand, because I know for me, that's the case. I'm not a lore skipper, but if you were to ask me what the plot is for Genshin, literally all I could tell you was that the twins want to be reunited and then they keep running into issues. That's all I can tell you about the story. I don't know a single thing about lore. Like, if I was to take a lore quiz, I'm failing that over and over and over again, because it's just so much. Hi guys, so just wanted to come on here and explain a little bit further, because you might be thinking, okay, if you're not a lore skipper, then why do you not know the lore? Let me tell you, I'm not somebody who, and I've never been somebody, even in school, I'm not somebody who can read something and then understand it like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think I explained it a little bit later, that I've watched a whole bunch of things and I've read documents and I still don't get it. Some people are like that, and I'm one of those people. I do not understand things off the fly. Like, I have to repeatedly read something, could make connections. Like, it has to be repetitive in order for me to learn something. So you might be thinking like, how do you not know the lore if you don't skip the story, like you play the game? It's a little bit more complicated than that. Some people don't learn the same way others do, and I'm definitely one of those people. I've never been somebody who learns things super easy, super quick. And I'm gonna be honest, the story gets so boring sometimes that I just go blank, and I'm just like staring at a screen, just pressing buttons. Like, I'm not somebody who processes information that way. So that might be the case for some people. So, before you judge somebody just because they don't know the lore, just remember that people aren't as into the game as you might be, or they might have a harder time understanding the lore. Because let's be honest, Genshin's story is good, but it's very, very complicated. Like, you gotta know so much information, and then some Genshin fans will get mad at you, because I've seen it on Reddit before, and in comments, but some Genshin players will get mad at you because you didn't know who Daughter was. Who? I don't like, so I say all this to say, just have a little grace with some people, like, especially if you're somebody who has a strong opinion about those kinds of topics and you love the game a lot. Just remember that some people don't process the information the same way you do, and some people just honestly aren't as interested in the story. They love the game and of course, might like the story, but they're not so deep into the lore where they're able to just see a name and be like, oh yeah, I know who that is, I know their entire backstory. It's not like that for some people. So just wanted to explain that real quick. We can get back into the video. And mind you, I have looked up videos and I've came across this like little document thing that explained the story, and I went through that. But again, there's so much story that it just gets overwhelming at that point, and it just seems not worth it. So I just stopped. I stopped trying to understand, and I've been happy. I've been so happy. So like, I understand that part of it. You don't want to add a skip button because you don't want people to complain about your game, but they end up skipping the story. I get it. I understand. Old me probably would have been like, yeah, I love Genshin, but nowadays I'm finding less and less reason to play this game. Genshin will always have a special place in my heart, but it just gets to a point. The greed gets to a point, you guys, where it just gets tiring. Like, I'm like, and I know like this is a gacha game. Like I said, all of this is gonna tie into things that I want to talk about in the end, but just as a reminder, this is a gacha game. Like, it's gambling. It's not like I'm coming into this with a blind eye, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm getting myself into. Things could be a gacha game and still be good, you know what I'm saying? They could still help their players out and make things easier for them in the long run while still making really good money. Because if we're honest, guys, the whalers aren't going anywhere. Obviously, the whalers are putting in dedicated time, a lot of money, obviously, for their favorite characters. Do y'all really think they're just gonna up and leave after spending millions of dollars on the game? No, they're not going anywhere. If anybody, those are your main supporters. Again, I have another great point about that, but I'll come back to that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the pity system. The total amount of temples that you can make is 90, correct? But the thing is, you can also lose your 50-50, which resets your pity. So that means whatever that total amount of pulls are, you possibly might have to do, because you could technically go to 90 every single time. Now, it's a very, very rare chance, but the fact that it's still possible is absolutely insane and honestly unnecessary. I understand it's an attempt to, get the players to spend money, because again, it is a gacha game. That's the whole point. The whole point is to gamble and spend money on the characters that we want, on the weapons that we want. There's a better way to go about the pity system. I'm not saying completely revamp the pity system. In my opinion, I think there does need to be a revamp, because it's honestly ridiculous. Like, that number is insane, you guys. Like, that number is if you lose your 50-50. It's just greedy. Like, I'm not saying to completely revamp the system, but at the same time, you're not trying to improve it at all. Some might say like, oh, but that's what makes Genshin Genshin, which is honestly unfortunate, because that's not a good thing. That's genuinely not a good thing to be like, oh, but me going to 90s is what makes Genshin Genshin, Me going to 90 pity every time is what makes Genshin Genshin, right? No. No, if that's what makes Genshin Genshin, then I don't wanna play. I don't wanna spend my time and my money doing that, right? I can't find this last one, so I'm just gonna move on, to be honest. I honestly think it would be more beneficial to make the 5-star guaranteed, and then the pity, you can only go up to like a max of 50 pity. And if they really want to continue with this, if you lose your 50, like lose your 50 and you have to start all over again with the pity, how about this? The max pity that you can get to is 50 or 60, right? 60 is really pushing it. The max pity that you can go to is 50. Let's say you lose your 50-50. All you have to do is just get 50 more pulls, which is doable in the allotted time. Comparing it to now, if you can lose your 50-50 at 80 pulls. You can lose your 50-50. Technically, couldn't you lose your 50-50 at 90 pulls too? No, it's insane, y'all. Like, really sit here and think about it. I've already spent so much time grinding for this character that I really wanted just to lose, and now I'm starting all over again from scratch. But it took me so long. It took so much time out of my day, time that I really don't have to be, you know, wasting, to gather materials, to gather primogems, to pull for this character, and I lose with late pity, and then I have to start all over again from scratch. They have to go to hard pity again. I've had to go to hard pity every single time. There has not been a single character yet from my pulling sessions where I've gotten the character early. Moving on to our next topic. Things being day locked. Haha! This one, again, I mean, all of these genuinely piss me off, but when I say pissed off, I mean pissed off. Why are we day locking things? I understand in the beginning you needed a way for players to come back, but let's be honest. Genshin is a well-established game now. It is very popular. There is absolutely no reason for you to be day locking things in 2026, in the big year of 2026. Did I already come to this one and I couldn't find it? In the beginning, I completely understand. It would make sense to day lock things at the beginning of Genshin, when things were still new and you needed to figure out a good way to get players to come back and play your game. I completely understand. But now that you have an established fan base, you have millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. What the fuck? Why the fuck are we still day locking things? Honestly, this should have been a thing that been gone. This should have been gone. There's already so many things that brings players back to this game. You have the weekly bosses, you have in-game content, you have exploration, you have character storylines, you have the main story quest, you have events, like you have new characters coming up. Like, there are things bringing us back to this game, hoyo. So if you're just basing this one little thing, really betting on this one little thing to bring players back to your game, then stop. There's already something bringing the players back to the game. I promise you, we're not going anywhere. A lot of us are not going anywhere. Like, even after you know, making this video, I'm still going to get on this game and play. Still, it's very sad. I honestly just think the whole day locking thing needs to be done, because it just adds to the frustration of the game. I do not want to be frustrated playing a beautiful game. Like, I'm literally swimming in the ocean as a dragon human. A human dragon, collecting flowers, picking flowers for a future character that I'm going to lose to, which I'm probably going to spend money on to get her, because I really want SIGEWINNE. Which also leads me to the weekly boss mention. If y'all can hear Harley smacking, she's literally right here. Can you see her little, I don't know if you can see her, but she's literally right there, and she got her little TOY, and she's smacking on it. Excuse that. I want to talk about weekly bosses. Now, I actually don't have too big of an issue when it comes to the way weekly bosses work, but I definitely think that it can be improved times 10, right? I think it would be great if, because you know how Resin works, like Resin refreshes, and Resin is a whole other issue, but we get 200 Resin each day. It refreshes, you know, the next 24 hours. I think it would be amazing for us to have another Resin system, but just specifically for weekly bosses. And really, I don't know if it would technically still be called weekly bosses, because we could technically do it every day. I mean, there's just so many damn weekly bosses. It honestly feels impossible to get your character where you want the character to be, because you have to wait 6 days before you can go to that boss again. And then on the topic of resin capping and refreshing, again, it's just another way. Oh, I said I was going to do the start here thing, but I didn't do it. I forgot. The whole refreshing thing, again, is just the way to get players to come back the next day. I understand, but again, my point with that is there's no point in doing that, because you're already well established. You're a well established game with a reputation. You don't need to give players an excuse to come back to the game, because we're going to come back anyways. So the whole resin refreshing thing just does not make sense to me. It genuinely doesn't. And then on top of that, I only get 200. What the fuck am I gonna do with 200? You have to use resin for talent materials, for artifacts, and to level up the character and the weapon. But I only get 200 resin a day? Leveling up characters needs to go like that. I'm not saying that at all. Then it doesn't make the game challenging. There needs to be some kind of challenge to the game, right? Everybody loves challenge. I'm not sure why. I don't like a challenge like that. I understand there needs to be some kind of challenge to the game, right? Fine, that's fine. Keep the challenge. But again, there just needs to be improvements. You can still like there's just so many restrictions when it comes to Genshin that it genuinely is not enjoyable. Not only can I not build my character, but it's a Tuesday and all the shit I need for the character opens up on a Thursday. So I have to wait 2 days before I can build my character. Genshin, we're not going anywhere. Like, y'all are so scared that these players are gonna go somewhere. Where are we gonna go? There is a reason that other people love the game. It makes no sense for you to be acting like this. Another major issue that I have with this game is not being able to play past events. I know for a fact that I am not the only one who feels like this, but Durin is a great example. A lot of players who, you know, saw Durin had no emotional connection to him whatsoever, because we had no clue who the fuck he was. I didn't know who Durin was. We did not get to experience Simulanka. And Simulanka genuinely seemed like a very fun event that I would have loved to experience. For some reason, they did not think to put in the game a way for new players to experience the same events and rewards. Those cute ass Sealies that everybody be having, guess what? Can't get them. And for some reason they're not making them anymore. I'm getting punished. I'm getting punished for not playing the game back then. Like, hey, look what you missed out on. Like, why are you spitting in my face and curb stomping me at the same time for not playing your game? Oh, because it's free to play, so you should have. No, it don't work like that. Just because your game is free to play doesn't mean that it's enticing me to come and play the game. Okay, next point is just basically that there should be more opportunities for F2P players to get the same experiences that whalers have, right? Now, I feel like if you're going to make a game that is F2P, then you're maybe not only concerned, but one of your big targets of satisfaction should be your free-to-play players. I'm not saying to completely ignore your dolphins and your whalers, but again, if you're making a free-to-play game, why are you not optimizing the game for those free-to-play players? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Genshin is just really, again, it feels like punishment. It feels like punishment a lot of the times, because there's just so much pressure for free-to-play players to get good. To a lot of them, and, you know, especially to me starting out, it was overwhelming, because you see these numbers, and, you know, your numbers and your builds aren't matching up to the whalers' numbers and builds, right? It just feels like you're not good enough. And I've mentioned this before, and I've talked about it before. It's free to play for everybody, but when you really look deeper, it's not free to play for everybody. And I think that's the one thing that is disappointing the most. Not everybody has $50 to spend on a game, right? For a lot of people, this is their favorite game, and it takes 10 times more the effort, it feels, for free-to-play players to get anywhere near whalers. And it takes 10 times the amount of effort, it takes 10 times the amount of resources, it takes 10 times the amount of time. And another point is that bullshit that they tried to pull the level 100 characters. That's a prime example of why it feels like sometimes for a lot of F2P players it feels impossible to do anything in this game, because they are making it seems like they're making the game for the whalers and not the F2P players, even though this is a F2P game. Whenever that came out, there was a lot of uproar, because how the does that help with F2P people? Another point that I would love to make is, why are there not more free 5-star? Again, they're acting like these 5 stars is actual money. Why are we acting like it's gonna be the end of the world and everything's just gonna go downhill if you give us more free 5 stars? And I'm not talking about standard characters at all. I'm talking about a Nouvelette, a free Nouvelette, a free Farina, a free Shallonen. And then, you know, I'm also not saying to make it extremely easy to get these characters. Why not just like lock them behind an event or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it goes back to the greed and selfishness that I feel like just embodies Genshin. But I'm gonna farm 3 times or 4 times in her artifact domain. I'm going to do Song of Days Past. It's actually funny because my next point is artifacts. I struggle so much with artifacts. Like, when I tell you guys, I have been farming for Varka's artifact set for 3 to 4 weeks and I still have nothing for him. I mean, not even a singular good piece. And I wish that I was playing about that, but I'm not. I'm not joking. I legit don't have a single thing. And I'm like, if anything should have a pity system, it should be artifacts. I definitely feel like, again, that artifacts need to be guaranteed. There should be some kind of system where you get the artifact that you need after a certain number of runs or something like that. Not only is it gambling when it comes to the characters, but it's also gambling when it comes to the artifacts that they literally need, by the way. In order to be good, they need the artifacts. You're telling me I'm not only getting punished for not playing your game, but I'm also getting punished because I'm not getting the artifacts that I need. At this point, just stop. I need there to be some kind of system where I'm going to get the exact artifact that I want, you know, after a certain number of runs or something like that. Also, I have no clue what I'm looking for. Maybe like HP or something like that. I have some other stuff. Lack of true diversity. I think the Chronicle Wish banner should be guaranteed. So it should be guaranteed. It should not be a whole nother banner where it's the same pity system as the other banners. The character should be guaranteed. I also think the weapon banner should either be guaranteed or have a lower pity system. Talking 40-50 pulls max. Local specialties. Local specialties, right? If I'm looking for Naku weeds, for example, I want to only and specifically be looking for Naku weeds. That means I don't want to be searching for beetles. That means I don't want to be searching for any other local specialty except the one that I originally searched for, right? Do not show me other people's local specialties. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for Naku weeds, so show me the goddamn Naku weeds. Add stuff in the game, but they're just like, hey, you, we're gonna make it difficult anyways. It's the same thing as the damn treasure compass. I've said a lot of points here and I just kind of want to reiterate that again, these are all my opinion. Some of them a lot of us can agree on. This is just the game, you know. Some might say it's not that big of a deal, but when it comes to a game that somebody thoroughly enjoys, it's really disappointing when we want to enjoy the game, but there's these different aspects of it that make it really challenging for us to enjoy the game. At the end of the day, you know, I understand like they have a job to do, you know what I'm saying? They have to, there's got to be some way for them to make money. There's a way better way for them to make their money than, you know, the way that they've been going about it. If you have a very strong feeling about anything that I've said, you know, and you might be negative, maybe just keep it to yourself. Because like I said before, these are all just my opinion. right? My opinion. You don't have to like my opinion. Respect my opinion to the best of your capabilities. But yeah, thank you for making it all the way to the end. Appreciate you being here. Am I gonna quit Genshin? No, I'm not gonna quit Genshin, but I'm gonna be on the look for a better gacha game because there has to be something better out there. Like there just has to be. And I definitely want to make content over that specific game as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.